Hi guys, today Destiny of Dunes has dropped 3 new costumes and we'll be taking a look at each of them. Let's start with Hathor. So her new class is a cleric class which gives 35% chance to resist any negative mana effects that prevents the use of special skills. That is an extremely good class. Now she has 3 passives. First one being 50% chance to follow this action when cast special skill. So the action is boost health of all allies by 10%, and then all allies gain a small amount of mana. So that is similar to her main form. And her second effect is guaranteed effect on special skill. So when this character casts their special skill, any of their passive skills, which is 3 of these passive skills that grants extra effects on cast, are guaranteed to activate. So that is also extremely very good. And her last passive is resist mana generation stop. This character has innate resistance against status ailments that stop mana generation. So that is an extremely good passive, but unfortunately that crosses with her talent, Mana Shield. So her talent wouldn't be as useful for her because she already has the resist mana generation stopping passive. But that is still okay. Hathor is an amazing hero. She also benefits from the defense up Aether talent, which is an extremely underrated Aether talent in my opinion. So now let's take a look at her stats. So 870 attack, 907 defense, and nearly 2000 health. That is very good stats across the board for Hathor, but keep in mind she is just she has been released for quite some time now, but those stats are still amazing. So if you go ahead and double limit break costume Hathor, you'll get over 1100 attack, nearly 1200 defense, and a staggering 2600 health. That is some very good stats for Hathor at double limit break if you do decide to double limit break her. Now let's look at the special skill. So her special skill is called Motherly Love. It's running at fast speed. We always love that. So all allies regenerate 640 boosted health over 4 turns. Boosted health can exceed max HP. So that is a very large amount of health recovered, especially for boosted health at fast speed. So that is a very good. A downside is it's overtime, so it can be dispelled. But unlike her original costume, which is a straight up heal, but it's a heal of only 480. But this one is 640 boosted health over 4 turns. So there's a bit of a negative and a positive side to this skill. And then the second part is still the same. All allies are immune to new status ailments for 4 turns, which is the same as her costume, which is the same as her original form. But still an extremely good hero. She's running at fast speed, very good stats across the board. Extremely underrated Aether talent, but I think it's a very strong Aether talent. This makes Hathor very survivable combined with her health. I think costume Hathor is very good. So next we will have a look at Anubis. So at first, I know the class is one of the best class. I think 2 classes are tied for the best. I think it's Rogue and Fighter. Now Anubis is a fighter, which gives him a 30% chance to revive 1 HP after he is taken out. So that is the best class in the game, I think. So let's look at his passes. Sorry, I'm sick today. Okay, so he has 3 passives just like Hathor. The first passive is effects on special skill. 60% chance of following the actions this character casts their special skill. So deals 70% damage to all enemies. Dispel the latest dispellable buff from all enemies. So that is the same as his normal, his original form. So that's the same. He also has the same guaranteed effect on special skill as Hathor, which I won't go over again. Now his last passive is mana on status ailment received, which is an extremely underrated passive because it gives you 5% mana when you receive a status ailment or a negative stack. Okay, so let's take a look at Costume Anubis's stats. So 925 on the attack, 951 on the defense, and nearly 2,000, about 1,900-ish on the health. Very good stats across the board for Anubis here. Now let's take a look at his special skill. But before we do that, he also benefits from the Dodge Aether talent, which lasts for 6 turns, 20% to dodge special skills that deal damage, which is very good. Oh, by the way, if you do decide to double limit break him, he'll be at a 1246 attack, nearly 1,300 defense, and 2,500 health, which is extremely good like Hathor. Now let's take a look at his special skill. So his special skill is called Mark of the Jackal. It is running at average speed, which is sometimes can be hard to charge an average speed hero, but it's still better than having slow. So his special skill inflicts the target with greed for 3 turns. The enemies with greed prevents other enemies from receiving friendly effects of their ally's special skill. Okay, so let me break this down. So the target gets greed. So targets get greed for 3 turns. The enemies with greed prevents or doesn't let other enemies from receiving friendly effects of their allies' special skills. So it basically blocks them. So the target with greed gets blocked from getting a buff or a positive effect that is casted by their allies' special skills. Now his second effect is all enemies receive 933 poison damage over 3 turns. But if you do turn the limit break off, it's 693. 933 is for double limit breaks. So it'll increase with double limit breaks. And lastly, all enemies get minus 28 defense for 3 turns. I think it's extremely balanced with his stats. The poison damage also can be cleansed, I think. I'd rather go with Costume Hathor than Anubis here. It's also running at average speed. 693 damage is barely nothing since now we have beta heroes. So it's not quite as good as some of the meta heroes, but I think he has potential in some battles, I think, because the greed does prevent an enemy from getting buffs from other enemies' special skill, which can be useful at some times. I'm not saying he's bad, I'm just saying he's good in some situations, and that's all I'm saying. So I think Costume Anubis is a balanced hero. He does have good stats, I'm gonna say that. So the last costume we're looking at is Mad. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. Maya. Costume Maya. So she is a paladin class which gives 25% chance to get 25% defense for 2 turns after receiving any damage. The effect is applied at the end of the turn. So indeed, a very defensive hero class, paladin. And now let's take a look at her triple passive. So it's a bit different. Okay, so 50% chance to deal 70% damage to all enemies. All enemies get minus 34 attack for 3 turns after casting the special skill. So it does have a 50% chance. It's not guaranteed. I'm gonna go over that. So let's take a look at the other passives. Extra chance for effects on special skill. When this character casts their special skill, any of their passive skills that grant extra effects on cast have 3 chances to activate. I have no idea what that means, but if I'm guessing, this character cast, okay, so when her, I'm not sure if I'm correct or no, but the way I get it is when she casts her special skill, any of the passives that grants extra effects on cast has like this is where I'm lost. 3 chances to activate. Or maybe it's like blocked or something. I have no idea what that means. Okay, let's move on to a second passive. Mana on health boosting special skill. This character gains 5% mana each time an enemy casts a special skill that directly boosts health. I think it's Anubis, right? I think this passive is better. Mana on status ailment received, because it's more likely to happen. Yes, boost health does happen quite a lot with people like Shaw and like Hathor we looked at, but it's direct boost health. Mione, but it's only 5%, but I think Anubis's passive is better. Mana on status ailment received, because it's more likely to happen, you know. Now let's take a look at Mayatzit's stats. So she has 933 attack, 951 defense, and 1869 health. So very balanced stats. It's leaning more in the attack, I think. As we looked at like Anubis and Hathor, I think Mayat's more on the attack side, because both of Anubis and Hathor health is over 1900. So let's take a look at her special skill. Actually, she does benefit from the damage reduction Aether talent. So at the start of each battle, all damage received by this hero is reduced by 10% for 6 turns. This can make her more durable and make her last more in the battle, so it'll give extra survivability. A great Aether talent indeed. So if you go ahead and double limit break Might, she'll be at 1200 attack, 1308 defense, and then over 2400 health. So very good stats again for Might. So now her special skill, Protector of the Blue River. She is indeed running at fast speed. We always love fast speed heroes. And at fast speed, she is dealing 220 damage to all enemies. And then all enemies get minus 35 defense for 3 turns. And all fire enemies get minus 20% attack for 3 turns. So she is running at fast speed. She is dealing damage. She is applying negative defense to enemies, and then she gives minus 20% attack to all fire enemies for 3 turns. That is very good at fast speed. But if we compare it to her original costume, so see, we have an increase in damage, and then an increase in a 1%, a negative 1% increase in defense, but a +4 on the attack. So it's leaning towards the damage and the negative defense side. So it's not, so the costume is not very made to go against fire heroes as I see this costume. But indeed, it's running at fast speed, it's dealing damage, it's giving defense down to all enemies, and minusing the attack of fire enemies. Great class, extremely useful passives, even though I don't understand the second one. So I think she is very survivable with, and she's gonna deal a lot of damage with that attack stat. So overall, I think costume Maya is a very survivable and very reliable damage dealer. I'll just put it that way. So if I have to rank these heroes, I'd go with Costume Hathor, Costume Maya, and then Anubis. So that is it for my review for the costume of Destiny of Dune summon. And I think we'll be having some new costumes the next time the summon arrives. I really want a costume for some healers, because I really need a 5-star healer for some of my elements. Like for red and blue, I really need a 5-star healer. Hathor might work, and this guy might work, but I'll drop my coins. So I'm working on this. I'm almost done. With the thing. I'll just pile up all my coins and do like one round of summons when I like all the featured heroes. And then that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and then see you next time.